It's an AT&T 5G call to the field. Out to Colorado, we go to Cole Bassett, a homegrown, a number 1 seed, a guy who's seen it all on this Rapids journey. Cole, what's up, man? How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Just getting ready for Thanksgiving, man. I'm juggling things here at the house. The wife's not too happy that we got to skip out on some afternoon. I wonder, though, how the Bassett family is handling this scheduling side of things here. Like, when is Thanksgiving dinner? How many people are coming? What's the deal?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were just testing out the oven today to see if we could put the turkey in while we're at the game, and then it also cooks while they're here, and then we get back home and it's ready. But we don't want to have like the turkey burnt, so we're trying to figure that all out right now.
Turkey burnt, also the apartment
like 8 o'clock. Yeah, exactly. We got to test it out and see if it works. But we got our grandparents are in town as well, so it should be a fun one.
How many people at this dinner?
It depends if we have friends or not. I think friends from the game might come over after. Depends on how we're feeling, though. We got to get a win first. Otherwise, I don't really want to talk to too many people. So if we win, then we'll have a lot of people. Maybe like 15 or so. Something like that.
If you win, Thanksgiving is on. If you, we won't even speak. We're not speaking about the alternative here. This is nothing but a celebration.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you, clear, you're a turkey guy, yeah? Or are you against your will is turkey served, as it would be in my household?
No, 100% a turkey guy. Love. I don't think there's one thing on Thanksgiving I don't like. So,
what's your tops?
Just turkey with gravy. We'll have mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, green beans, everything, all the desserts, pies. Doesn't matter to me.
Eats it all. I'm going to recommend stuffing. You got the classics going there. A big Thanksgiving Day game, of course, for the Rapids. Timbers in town, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Big Fox Deportes is where you can watch this one. I'm curious, Cole, as you guys attempt to make this run, and it's just a 3-game one to get to MLS Cup. You got to win 2 games out west, then you're there. Do you remember 2010? How do you remember 2010, the last MLS Cup championship for this Rapids team?
Yeah, I was in 4th grade at the time, I believe, and it happened over the weekend, but then you always come in and you kind of share what you did on the weekend, and I said that the Rapids won, and I watched it, and our whole class that likes soccer was talking about it, so that's all I can really remember. I don't remember too much watching it, but I've actually became friends with Kanji, who scored the winner, and he comes out in the offseason and trains with us. Yeah, and you should see this guy. He's still so physically fit. It's unreal. I think he's like 34, and he still looks the exact same, maybe even better than he did. So it's pretty cool to meet the guy that won it for us. And then I obviously had Connor Casey as a coach for a little bit, so I've gotten to know some of those guys as well.
Man, word on the street is Matt Kanji still playing in Finland, still doing his thing. And he sacrificed it all, Cole. He sacrificed it all for the glory of the Rapids. That is one of those underrated MLS Cup stories of all time, and I'm so happy that Mac is under the radar.
I can't believe Cole Bassett and Matt Kanji trained together. That is the greatest episode of this season.
Yeah, I know. And it wasn't like we texted each other. We just ended up, he lives here in the offseason. I think his family lives here. So he was just out at one of the local fields that we used to play at growing up. Me and Seb Anderson were just out there, and we saw him, and then we started inviting him to group pickup because during COVID last year we had to find a way to play to get ready for the season. So he was coming out with us every day. We were playing like 6-on-6 and, just getting ready for the season, and he's out there. So, yeah, it's fun.
So take us into this season. You're part of the best regular season in Rapids history. You guys are the number 1 overall seed, and for a while there, it didn't quite look like you get there, but, results went your way, and, of course, you handled business. You've been there when it wasn't this good as well. Take us back to 2019, I think it was, to the CONCACAF Champions League / preseason, whichever one it was, and then this journey of Connor Casey to Robin Fraser and this steady rise up to the top of the West.
Yeah, when I first came in, it was pretty. I was just turned 17, and I think within a month I was starting games for this team. It wasn't too hard to break in, if I'm being honest, and just overall the whole league has changed. Like, it's crazy for me to see the way that this league has grown and turned into, honestly, it's got to be up there with leagues in Europe for competitiveness. Like, when I first joined, I don't think it was, but the quality that's came into this league over recent years it's crazy to be a part of it at least. So, a couple of years ago, we had some talented guys, and I think there's still a couple of us that are on this team: Jack Price, Danny Wilson, me, and Kellen Acosta. We've all kind of been through it all together. But I just think once Robin Fraser came in, it kind of just changed the culture in the locker room. We had a good team before, and I think Porig said it that we weren't a 07-2 team or something like that. But I think just the way that Robin changed the culture and brought in guys that know how to win and also guys that are hungry to win. A lot of younger guys, especially guys like Trusty and Jonathan Lewis, guys from different clubs in MLS. I think just bringing the whole group together has gotten us where we are.
When you look at the way you've played, though, this season, a lot of young players, as you said, not as much experience. What has allowed you to still be successful with a young group?
I mean, we have so much depth in this team, so it's kind of, we do have some experience with Drew Moore and Stephen Beitashour, Colin Warner. They've been around. They know what it takes to win. Supporter Shield, MLS Cup, stuff like that. But I mean, I think with the younger guys, sometimes we don't even think about it. Like, we're just kind of out there playing and we're continuing to grow, and we're kind of just playing together. And, that's the fun part is, like, I remember during the summer, we had a lot of guys out. I mean, Kellen was gone with national team. Johnny was gone with national team. Eunice Nomley was out with an ankle injury. And it was just the young guys stepping up for the most part. I remember there was a game in Austin, I think late July, and we had like 3 or 4 of the guys that played on my U17 academy team playing. And it was just so cool to see that all the young guys were stepping up and contributing and helping us get wins throughout the summer.
You talked about playing pickup with Seb Anderson. We talk about youth development all the time in MLS, but a lot of times it's Philly, it's Dallas, it's Red Bulls. The Rapids don't get mentioned as much. And as you said, you've been churning out players. Do you feel like a sense of pride to carry that, for the Rapids?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we ever will get the national media attention unless we win MLS Cup or something. And, other kids are going to be talked about. Me and Sammy Vines talked about it all the time. It's like we had a great year last year, and, other people get talked about. We don't really care at this point, but me and Sammy did feel kind of a pride in kind of raising the level of Rapids and try to get noticed at least for the young academy kids. We also want to, show them that we deserve to be here. If you continue to work hard and push yourself, I think we showed that you can get into this first team. And then in Sammy's case, also get sold to Europe as well and know that you can be in the national team too. So for us, we take a pride in showing the community of Colorado that young kids can be brought up here and develop and then also play in the first team here and help us win. It's not like we're just coming off the bench every game or playing a small role. Me and Sammy were starting almost every game at the start of the year, and we've played big roles throughout the past 2 years. So I think it's important for us to continue that. And, he's gone now, so it's kind of on my shoulders. And, there's going to eventually have to be some other kids that step up one day and kind of take up that role.
Following Sammy and following Cole. By the way, you had an opportunity to leave. You didn't go, and you said in that moment that you thought that this team could win something and you wanted to stay. What made you believe that you guys could win something, and how difficult was that decision for you in the moment? I believe what was it? It was Porto, I think?
Benfica at the time. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple clubs during that time period that were interested, but it's always been my dream to go there, but this team just had something special. I mean, it's tough to turn down a club like Benfica. They're Champions League. They're one of the best clubs in history if you look back throughout the years and stuff like that. But I think for me, I knew what this team had. I mean, at the time, I think we were in like 4th place in the West, so it's not like we were at the top of the table and I kind of could see that we were going to win. I had to trust the process and see that we did have the quality of a group that could go win something. Obviously, I mean, finishing first in the West was great, but there is no trophy for that. It's not like we got Supporter Shield. So for me, it's kind of, we haven't done anything yet. There's been a lot of talk this last week celebrating it and stuff like that. But for me, I mean, it's really time to get down to business on Thursday and, hopefully try to win at least a trophy this year, because that's the whole reason why I stayed. And I think the whole team, not just me, is really motivated to do that.
Take us into the locker room a little bit. We talked to Robin Fraser a ton in his time around MLS. I don't think he likes us as much as he likes the people on his team. So he's a little guarded sometimes with us, sometimes opens up. But what's he like as a coach? What's the atmosphere that he sets? How is it that he interacts with all of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, off the field, he's a very humble, quiet guy, modest. He's easy to talk to when you're having a conversation that's not soccer. But, I mean, when it gets down to business, he's really serious. And I think the biggest thing with us is that we watch a ton of video. It's the most video that I've watched with probably any coach. I mean, Greg Berhalter was up there with, being really detail-oriented. But Robin, it's almost every single day. And that's kind of his interaction with players is he kind of wants you while you're here. You're really focused in and kind of, trying to do your job. And while you're in training, you're your mindset is just completely focused on training. But once you're away from it, you can kind of go enjoy yourself. And I think that's why a lot of guys have, found this place as a home that they like, because I think they know that they can come in and concentrate for a bit and then also just go live their life once it's outside of soccer. So I think there's a level of comfort here between the team. And I think that's what has kind of brought us together as a team, is we all feel so close and bonded together while we're here, and then we go live our lives outside of it.
Seems like the whole process is designed to get the most out of you. And when you look at the roster, you look at the DP spend, you look at the production on that side. Eunice has been hurt, unfortunately for him, but you guys are first in the West, basically with the lowest output from designated players in the whole league. Describe to me how Robin wants you to play and what it is you guys think of as yourselves as a team. Like, what are your strengths? What are the things that you do well?
Yeah, I mean, I think Robin always says that the biggest strength is the team, that we have so many guys. I mean, we could probably put 20 guys out there before you think, oh, this actually might hurt our team a little bit in terms of quality. So I think that's a big plus for us, is that, a lot of teams have maybe 14 guys or so that they trust. But, once you're getting down to the subs late in games, I mean, last game versus LAFC, we brought on me, Mikey, Baji, Andre Shinyashiki, like all of us could be starting. And then we ended up scoring a couple goals at the end. And, I think they only had like 3 subs to bring on. So that's probably the biggest difference with us. But also just in terms of tactics, I think we're so fluid in the systems that we play and the movement. Robin's kind of made it so that throughout games, we kind of just learn, we kind of think the same way as Robin. Like, we're kind of just fluidly moving throughout the game. And we all know, like, we have to be in certain spots kind of, but it doesn't matter who's where and what system we're playing. So we kind of end up, teams throughout games, it seems like they kind of don't know exactly what we're doing, because sometimes we'll be in a 5-back, we'll rotate to a 4, sometimes to a 3, 2 6s, 1 6, 2 forwards, one, like it changes all the time. And I think that kind of messes with teams throughout games, is that they don't really know where we're going to end up eventually.
You mentioned how deep this team is. You guys have been off for a little while. How intense are the inter-squad scrimmages over this time? Are you guys just bashing each other?
Yeah, it's been pretty intense, no lie. Me and Diego Rubio got into it a little bit. We're competitive. Like, this whole team, it's been like that throughout the whole year. We want to win, and I think we've brought that competitive edge every single day to training. You're only out there for an hour and a half. Try to get the most out of it, and that's what we tried to do the past couple of weeks, because it is tough not playing for 3 weeks. But luckily, I mean, we did get that first game in the semifinals, which does help. We're not waiting as long as New England is, but we've had to find ways to be prepared, and that's come through a couple of inter-squad scrimmages. So it has gotten a little intense, but nothing too bad to where, we're getting people out of the playoffs and stuff like that.
Are we keeping a record, though?
Yeah.
Who's winning?
Got to be a record.
Well, the thing is, they change it up so much. So, okay. I mean, there might be like a couple guys that have won a few more than other people, but they change the teams all the time.
You're not going to change the team. You're getting the Timbers. We learned that last night. I'm assuming you watched the game. You saw Sebastian Blanco out here just banging him. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting. Last time we played Portland, they kept him on the bench the whole game, which we were surprised at, but it did help us. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference between last game and this game, is they didn't have Blanco. And I think that's why last game it was a little bit easier to deal with them. But, they're still a great team. They've got so much attacking power going the other way. When Espria opens his legs, either the Charas, Blanco, and then more finishing stuff on the other end, it's tough to stop. So we're excited for this matchup. I think it should be an interesting one. They're a team that's tough to kind of break down at times. They sit in really deep and then they counterattack very fast, but we just got to be aware of that. And especially at home, we can just continue to wear them out, hopefully. And if we can put a couple goals away earlier, I think that will change the game for us.
You look at your team, the ability to break teams down, and AnthonyK has been a big part of that coming over from the trade. What do you make of him as a person and as a new element to this team?
Yeah, he's a close friend of mine. I love Mark. He's kind of helped me out a little bit because he's been experienced with Bob at LAFC and the way that they play. And it's a little bit different style than we play here, but that's kind of the style that I want to play in and be able to be a person that's, on the ball a lot and dictates the game. And he's kind of helped me with that. And then also he's a Canadian international. I want to be playing at the international stage, and we talk about that sometimes as well. But he's just been a great guy. I mean, when he first came in the first couple of games, you could kind of just see a chemistry between us. At least we felt it on the field. And, we haven't played together as much recently because there's just been so much change in our lineup and roster. But I still enjoy playing with him a ton, and he's a great guy in the locker room.
Boy, Canadian international. There were years past where that wasn't as admirable as it is now, which is an incredible thing. Before we let you go, I just got to ask you personally, like, you made this decision to stay. You know, you're trying to break in here to the senior national team and advance your career.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at this offseason, perhaps, or the next couple years down the line, where do you want to be? How do you want to get there? What do you envision? What do you dream about?
I mean, if we're talking about the national team, I want to be a part of that World Cup next year. I think a lot of people wouldn't even consider my name in the mix if, you know, you talk to Twitter people or whatever. I don't pay too much attention to that. But for me, I have a belief in myself that I can get there. And, you know, maybe it's not staying here. We'll kind of reconsider things at the end of the year and see what's best for me. Right now, I'm obviously completely focused on our playoff run and trying to win an MLS Cup. But in the future, I mean, you do look at the guys that are in the national team in my position, and almost all of them, except for maybe Sebi Leggett, are over in Europe. So I think that's a place that maybe I will need to end up just to continue my career. But the whole reason why I stayed right now is that I feel like I'm still developing here under Robin Fraser. If I didn't feel that, I think I would have left. But that was a big part of it for me, is that I'm going to continue to develop here. But, you know, as the end of the season comes, I think if I want to really push myself and be on level with Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams, and I mean, even my teammate Kellen Acosta, it's a good gauge for me to see that he's in there because I get to train with him every single day. So I kind of know what's expected to be in there. But I think eventually I probably will have to go to Europe to continue my career. But as of right now, I'm still trying to, you know, get better here. And, you know, there's a December camp coming up. So hopefully we could win MLS Cup and then head thereafter.
What are the specific things on the field? Because I think for all of us watching you, you know, you made great runs into the box to score goals. You're clean on the ball, but felt like this year you started to pop in terms of how much you were around the ball, how much of the game you were affecting. What are the things you are focusing on to take your game to the next level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I got so much stuff still that, you know, I want to work on. I mean, look, I got a long career, and I know I'm just beginning it, and I'm not going to be one to say that, you know, I'm the hardest on myself out of anybody. So I know I still have a long way to go, but the biggest things for me is, like you said, being around the ball a lot. I've looked at my numbers, and compared to guys, I know Blanco's a little bit of a different player than me, but just like him and Reynoso, they're on the ball so much. I think me and Brendan Aronson kind of talked about this one time is, you know, it's hard to get involved. Sometimes as a younger player, they don't give you the ball as much, but I think for me, it's trying to help dictate play a little bit more, and then also continuing to work on my defensive side. I think being more physical and getting into more tackles if I am going to end up as more of an 8 box to box. I think that's something that I need to add in my game. And I think the biggest thing for me, though, which is what I've talked with the coaches, is, you know, doing well under pressure. When I have our system here, it kind of relies on the front guys to hold up the ball a fair amount. And that's something that I haven't been used to, at least, being kind of a hold-up guy. But I've had to get used to it. And I think if I continue to develop where nobody can really take the ball off me, I think that's a big thing for me that I can continue to work at. And, you know, obviously score goals and assists. I was not happy this year with how many posts I've hit. But, you know,
I think you might be the league leader.
Yeah,
you're right up there at the top.
I don't like to hear, but yeah. I mean, if half those going, I'm the leading goal scorer. But, you know, it's tough for me to see that because you're literally inches away from scoring maybe 8 to 10 goals this year. But it is what it is, and I think I can just continue to work at that and make sure those go in next year.
The margins are thin. Same thing in the Audi 2021 MLS Cup playoffs. Rapids Timbers, Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday is Thanksgiving, folks. I don't have to remind you of that. Fox Deportes. I don't think we're going to get a Vinny Sartini moment from you, are we, Cole? You're not going to guarantee victory or anything like that, right?
No, I mean, hey, Portland's a great team, and I'm not going to give a Vinny Sartini moment. That was pretty bold on his part. But, yeah, it should be a great game, though.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us, man. Looking forward to watching your career wherever it is, whether it's on a march to MLS Cup or headed to Europe as well. Good luck, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Did you enjoy that? Was that right up your alley? Well, go subscribe to Extratime wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also check the full shows on the MLS YouTube channel right over here, and you could subscribe to the MLS channel right here. Thanks for listening and watching, everybody.